What major plot holes can't you get over? How do the minions wear dungarees if they don't have shoulders? Barbie, Princess and the Pauper. When they first switch places, the pauper is surprised to get served breakfast in bed, and the maid says just like very morning miss. But then later on the queen discovers her missing because she wasn't at breakfast this morning. Of course she wasn't. She has it in bed every morning. I need answers. Second breakfast. Barbie is a hobbit. In Liar Liar, the big reveal at the end is that the prenup is void because Jennifer Tilly's character was a minor when she signed it due to lying about her age to get married. But if she lied about her age to get married, then the marriage would also be void, since you can't marry a minor without parental consent, and she wouldn't get crap. In Limitless, if he's so brilliant and now rich, why the heck doesn't he just pay back the goddamn bookie on time? All the dialogue in Pokemon games. I can't believe I lost to a kid. You threw out one Pokemon and used self-destruct as your opening move. What did you think was going to happen? Congratulations, you are 10 and can now get your first Pokemon. Good job. Let's go through a 30-minute explanation of Pokemon. Now, go beat up that group of 4-5 years old preschoolers that all have Pokemon. Don't ask why they get them earlier than you though. Star Wars Episode 3, a technologically advanced society with medical technology sufficient to save a man covered in second and third degree burns over 75% of his body, where a woman has no idea that she's having twins. Did Padme just blow off seeing an Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Whenever anyone without super speed lands a punch on the Flash, you can run backwards in time and between parallel worlds. Keep your head on a swivel, dang. Okay, this is a weird one, but remember when CarFax first started advertising on television? The bit was that shoddy dealerships wouldn't use them, and tried to pawn off a CarFax report when customers asked for the far superior CarFax. Now, somehow, CarFax is the CarFax mascot. How did these two bitter rivals become friends? It's like how the gecko got hired at Geico after being constantly bothered by phone calls for them. If Ariel can sign a contract, why can't she write Prince Eric a goddamn note? Dear Eric, I'm the mermaid who saved you. I'm so smitten that I've bargained with the sea witch who wants my father's kingdom. Yes, fine, I'm royalty. For a chance to win your heart, she gave me legs, but she took my voice. It's temporary, though. I don't expect true love to strike in 3 days, but if you could find it in your heart to kiss me sometime in the next 3 days, I would get my voice back and my father would retain his kingdom. We could continue to pursue our relationship on whatever footing your human society finds appropriate. Hep, I said footing. Anyway, I think you're dreamy and I hope you'll kiss me soon. Yours, Ariel. The Little Mermaid isn't exactly a litany of good decision making on Ariel's part. In Twilight, the vampire doesn't have blood, can't sweat, can't cry, but somehow the one bodily fluid he does have is semen, and he can make a weird half vampire baby. Number. Don't ask why I know this, but Esme said that it's venom, not semen. Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn. Watched it with an ex, and was annoyed by the battle scene as a vision bulls. However, I was the only person who seemed annoyed that it was a giant plot hole. It's stated multiple times throughout the series that Alice cannot see the future where wolves and Oremus, me, the little vampire child thing, are concerned, and it blocks her ability. Yet the entire battle vision involves wolves. Goddammit Alice, get your crap together. I bet Alice was bluffing. She imagined that scenario and told Era that it was a vision of the future. Basically threatened the crap out of him and got away with it. Meanwhile, Era was either unaware of the werewolf limitation, knew but forgot, or was just an idiot. Who shot down the fricking helicopter in Suicide Squad? Also the rest of the movie. This one has driven me mad for years. Superman Returns. Oh, God. Lex Luthor's big evil plan makes absolutely no goddamn sense. He wants to use the kryptonite to destroy about half of North America, turning it into irradiated rock. And then, what? He talks like the rock is his property, his own country, and he can build housing on it, and people will pay him to live there. What? He expects people will want to live on radioactive land? Also, he doesn't seem to think that there's going to be any reaction to his actions outside of Superman. Forget Superman. He is going to face the might of the US military for what is basically a massive act of terrorism. Does he expect his goons to fight them off? As a matter of fact, forget the military. Any decently organized group can sweep in and take him out. There's no endgame to his plan. If his goal is just mass destruction, that would be fine. But he seems to think he can benefit and a profit on it, and that's absolutely ridiculous. There's no logical way that would be possible. That in West Side Story a guy runs through the middle of Spanish Harlem yelling Maria and only one girl comes to the window? I call bulls. In movies where Santa is real but the parents don't think he is, where do they think the presents are coming from? In Ant-Man, Hank Pym explains that he's able to shrink people objects by reducing the space in the atoms, and this means that the person object retains their mass. This is how he can still deliver an effective punch whilst shrunken. But then we see Scott Lang riding on top of an ant, running up people's arms and other stuff that would be impossible if he still had the mass of a full-grown man. And then there's the several-ton tank that Pym has on his keychain. Great movie otherwise, but this still irks me. Stepford Wives. The movie starts with the realization all the women are robots. That is, producing food from their stomachs like an oven. But then it is found out they use a chip to transform the women's minds. How do they have bionic bodies then? Makes no sense. Now you see me too. Why the heck do they keep passing the card to the person who is about to get searched? Also, the movie should have been called Now You Don't. In Waterworld, they have Jack Daniels and brand name cigarettes left over from before the flood, but still enough time has passed for evolution to facilitate the growing of gills. He spent time swimming in the waters above the Coca-Cola bottling plant in Atlanta. Caffeine speeds up evolution. Spider-Man 2. Okay, so, Doc Ock shows up at Harry's house and demands more unobtainium. Harry offers a trade, bring Spider-Man and he'll give him more unobtainium. Doc Ock asks how to find Spider-Man. Harry points out that Peter Parker takes pictures of Spider-Man and may know how to find him. Doc Ock shows up then and throws a car at the back of Peter Parker's head, which Peter Parker survives by virtue of being Spider-Man, which Doc Ock didn't know about. So, in order to get the stuff he wants, he needs Peter's help, so he tries to kill him. In Star Wars, and also recently Star Trek, when a ship that clearly has artificial gravity starts to roll over, everyone falls to the side ceiling. In Star Trek it was explained though, their inertial dampeners were damaged. Star Trek Into Darkness was riddled with plot holes bigger than the size of Jupiter. Anyways, the one that bugged me the most is the whole we need Khan alive to save Kirk's life thing. I mean, they had 72 superhuman sickles with perfectly good Khan blood to inject into Kirk's dead body, but no. They had to capture Khan's stupid butt alive while Spock runs around screaming. Karate Kid. No kicks to the face. Daniel wins with a kick to the face. IT makes no sense. Beauty and the Beast. Disney version. Has a plot hole I just can't wrap my mind around. At the beginning of the movie, a young prince answers the door and finds an old haggard witch who wants shelter from the cold. The witch curses him for his unkindness by making him a beast. The animation makes it seem like this is maybe an older teen or young adult. They say that if he can't find true love by his 21st year, he will be doomed to be a beast forever. When the story really begins, he is not far from being 21 years old. During Be My Guest, Lumia mentions that for 10 years we've been rusting, needing so much more than dusting, implying that they've been turned into objects for at least 10 years. So, the prince has been a beast for 10 years and is just about to turn 21. That means, when the sorceress turned him into a beast for being rude, he couldn't have been older than 11 years. Where were his parents when the sorceress arrived? Why weren't they also turned into objects or animals? What adult would expect an 11-year-old to be hospitable and selfless? Had that sorceress ever met a preteen before? This could have been solved if they had never said in the opening narration that he'll be cursed forever at 21 years. You know how in Suicide Squad, the whole idea of the movie is that these villains have to go in and save the day, cause there's no other choice? What the heck are Aquaman or Flash or Wonder Woman doing in the beginning? It shows them locking up the villains, and then when the world needs saving, I guess they aren't there? Terminator Genesis. If there was already a liquid metal Terminator in the past, Why did they even need to send the original Arnold Terminator back to water time? Remember the end of G.I. Joe, when the subarctic base gets destroyed because the ice above it blows up and then sinks to crush the base? The whole ending of the movie is predicated on the fact that ice, which for some reason was floating before they blow it up, sinks. Are you freaking kidding me? In The Walking Dead, they still find gas and cars that still run. But in reality, gas starts to go bad after a few months and then cars don't run as well as they should. After around a year, the cars run like crap. Maybe they've been able to refine their own fuel. Okay, here's one that I've been mulling over for years. So in Hannah Montana, Hannah's father is Billy Ray Cyrus. Miley lives with her father in their house, but Billy is always at Hannah's concerts acting as her father. How doesn't anybody realize that Miley is his daughter? Robbie Ray Stewart. The Walking Dead. Twice they have figured out ways to be able to walk around the zombies without them noticing. Once in the first season they rubbed zombie guts all over themselves, and as long as it doesn't rain there would be no problem trying that again. Then there was the character that walked 2 zombies on a chain. All she did was cut their jaws and arms off, and voila, she could walk in crowds of zombies as long as she had them with her. Why doesn't everyone just do that? Or tie a whole bunch of jawless and armless zombies around their campsites in order to deter other zombies away? This bothers me so much. In the early parts of Futurama, Zoidberg goes back to his home planet to try and mate. He doesn't, and it turns out his species dies when they mate, so everyone on the planet is freaking dead except for what will become newborns and an entirely new generation. Yet there are like 5 other episodes with a ton of people from his planet, and even one with what I assume is his mother talking about how he should be a doctor. Just doesn't make any sense to me. The opening credits to Dexter show Dexter Morgan shaving, but when he leaves his apartment at the end he is not clean shaven. They show him running a razor blade over his neck, not his chin. Totally believable. The pea-brain T-Rex gives a nod of respect to the blue raptor that helped him at the end of Jurassic World, then walks away instead of trying to eat it. Let's talk about how the dinosaur behavioral expert imagined that it was more likely for a monster dinosaur to escape the cage unnoticed than it was to have a problem with some heat monitor. The entirety of Twilight. Why didn't the Cullen sparkle during the day? Clouds don't equal the sun ceasing to exist. Why did Jasper go so crazy when Bella got a paper cut in the second book? He goes to a school filled with humans who are filled with blood. Why did Edward try to kill himself when all he had to do was make a quick trip back to Forks to see if she was actually dead or not? Why would Edward leave her for her own safety when he knew about the werewolves, which he was even more worried about? How does Bella get pregnant? According to the book, vampire bodies are frozen in time, but apparently not when it's baby making time. The list goes on. Start from the idiocy of Edward going to school again and again and again over the course of his immortal life. Because when you're rich and immortal, of course you want to be spending most of your time doing the same thing you have done 50 times before and pretending to have a boring teenage life filled with teenage drama for the eternity. In V for Vendetta, when everyone gets a Guy Fawkes mask shipped to their home, where did V find the time to make them, and how did he mail them without the authoritarian government finding out? Our shipment volume is up 10,000% today. Twilight failed to address a major plot point. Let's say on average that your period lasts for about 5-6 days of a 30-day month. So presumably about 20% of the girls at Forks High School have their periods at any given time. How are the Cullens able to be normal around them? But Bella gets a paper cut and Jasper completely loses his crap. In Toy Story, Buzz thinks he is a real space ranger and not a toy. However, anytime Andy or another person come into the room he freezes and acts like a toy. Obviously it is not an involuntary response because they come to life in front of Sid. Just like people who believe that Jesus never try and walk on water, Buzz never moves in front of humans due to an innate sense of self-preservation. The delusion is not that he is unaware of being a toy, but avoiding the fact he is not the only Buzz Lightyear. That's how I see it anyway. When Bart told Milhouse he never had any goldfish, then why did he have the bowl? Bart, why did he have the bowl? The Walking Dead, or any zombie film for that matter. Apparently the zombies are so strong that they've effectively beaten the military and society has broken down. Still a bunch of ragtag survivors are able to survive with machetes. hammers and shotguns. Also, why the heck don't they wear thicker clothes? You and your friends get bitten all the time because you wear t-shirts and thin shirts. I like how in Shaun of the Dead they think it's all over, but then the military just waltzes in at the end and restores order. I think that this would be the most likely scenario. A small village or town gets infected. Some of the survivors manage to get out and raise the alarm. The military comes in and sanitizes the area. End of crisis. You have been visited by the ingenious Joe. Comment brain so you always see the glass half full. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.